Hi there, it's Mark from Third Shot Sports. Today we're going to talk about controlling the direction on ground strokes. Obviously that's important because it's the difference between hitting a shot that is an unforced error and goes just out, or hitting a winning shot. So there are some myths out there about what actually controls the direction of ground strokes. So we're going to do two things today. First is to explore some of those myths and explode them, explain why they're wrong. And two, lead you on the right path towards understanding what controls the direction. So the first myth, and the most common one I hear, is people say it's really important that you follow through towards your target. If you follow through towards your target, that's where the ball is going to go. So let's take a look at that. So you'll see on the far side I have a basketball and I have a chair. So I'm going to follow through towards the basketball, and let's see where the ball goes. Ready? So again, I follow through to the basketball, but it doesn't. It goes towards the chair. Follow through to the basketball, but again, it doesn't go there. Okay, so that's 3 times I followed through to the basketball, but 3 times the ball went somewhere else. So what's going on here? Well, if you think about it, this piece of advice doesn't actually help. The follow through is what happens after the ball has already left the paddle. The ball is on its way somewhere, to the basketball, to the chair, or somewhere else. What I do with my paddle after the ball has left can't affect where it's going. It's already on its way. So what you do with the follow through doesn't actually control where the ball goes, okay? Because it's after the fact. The second myth that you hear is that it's important to line up your feet, or sometimes your hips or your shoulders towards your target. And that's going to make the ball go where you want. Well, let's look at that. I'm going to line up towards the chair. Okay, so I'm on this angle, everything is well lined up, and I send the ball, and it doesn't go there. It could go there, but it could also go somewhere else. Again, it's not your feet or your hips or your shoulders that are sending the ball. I could be lined up in this really strange position, backwards, and I can send it wherever I want. I could send it to the basketball. I could send it to the chair. Because it's not my hips and my shoulders and my feet that send the ball. Okay, so those are the 2 myths. If you hear them from people now, follow through to your target or line up your feet or hips, you now know that they are on the wrong path. So what's the right path? What actually controls the direction of your ground strokes? Well, the main thing that controls it is the angle of the paddle at the moment you make contact. So for example, if I was hitting the ball towards you, if my racket face is pointing straight towards you, that's where the ball is going to go. If the racket angle is pointed to the side, away from you when I hit, it's going to go that way. And if it's tilted the other way, it goes the other way. So regardless of what position my body is in, it's the angle of the paddle at impact that controls the direction. Let's take a look. So I'm going to make sure that when I hit this ball this time, that the paddle face is pointed straight towards the basketball. Okay, there we go. And then it goes towards the basketball. If I do everything exactly the same, but this time I tilt it, hitting slightly on the outside part of the ball, and now the paddle face is pointed towards the chair, it goes towards the chair. This is the same on backhand. So again, if it's tilted towards the chair when I hit, it goes to the chair, and if it's tilted towards the basketball, it goes towards the basketball. So regardless of what position you're in, it's going to be the angle of the paddle at impact that controls where the ball goes. Okay? So next time you're out playing some pickleball and your partner says, hey, how do I hit a good down the line? How do I hit a good cross court? You know, it's not your feet, it's not your follow through, it's the angle of the paddle at impact.